welcome back to another episode of the Bonsai Blacksmith. Today is going to be a quick update on my Brazilian Raintree, or my Chloroleucon tortum, which is the original variant, or the more common variant of the Brazilian Raintree. And I'm also going to show you how my cuttings from the last time we got an update have turned out. So let's get started. So this is how much growth we've had on the Raintree since we last cut it. You can see quite significant. Not as much ramification as I'd hoped, but we'll see what we can do about that today. Very nice and flat on the top. And these are the cuttings from last time. If you remember, I saved them, and most of them have sprouted new leaves. Even this one looks like it's dead, but it actually has green. If you look closely, there's some green budding going on there on the stem, so all good things. Just take a look of the 360 of this tree and see how much it really grew out. Very flat, but that was kind of the intention we were going with when we initially trimmed it. So after looking at this tree some more, I've definitely decided, and winter's coming, I'm going to be leaving this tree for some time by itself. Be a good time to take it out of the air pot. So after I trim this back, I'm going to plant it into a proper bonsai plot that I had made by a local individual. So this should be a pretty cool turnout. So let's go ahead and start trimming this tree. I'm going to go ahead and start taking these long ones. I'm assessing what I did last time, looking where I cut last time. There's still wound sealant on the wounds where I cut, so I can really have a nice little visual history of what I've done here. I got some competing branches I need to focus on. Not sure if you can see these here. These branches are competing with each other, running along side by side. I have to decide which one to keep, which one to discard. It's tough. I am going to try to make more cuttings, of course. Successfully made that happen. Oh, I got a little friend in there. Well, friend, better find a new home soon. It's cold out there. We've been getting colder weather here in the South Atlantic. It's in the lower 60s now at night, mid 60s, upper 60s during the day, which is a bit chilly for the subtropics. So, let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and start taking where I see the best ramification, the newer growth. I'm going to take that one off. And I can always cut back even more severely as I go. I can always go cautiously. And you know what? I think that really is the recommended way. Cautiously move forward, see how that goes. I'm going to lay all these branches down because I am going to save them for cuttings. This one's crossing over this one. This one's crossing over this one. It's a bit of a nightmare if you ask me. I'm probably, what's got more foliage, this branch or this branch? This branch has less foliage, so I'll cut that one off. That helps remove some of that crisscrossing I was worried about. And again, looking at these branches, seeing directional cutting, thorns are also indicative of nodes or possible bud points. So I'm going to go ahead and just see what happens when I cut that one. Keep going. Got some short internodes here, which I am enjoying. So I'm going to go ahead and cut in that short internode. There is a small amount of dieback on this, but not as much as you would think on this tree. I think that's one reason why people like the bonsai it so much. So I got some long internodes, short internodes. I'm going to cut the longer one of the two in there. This one, that one goes. Keep spinning. You gotta love these turntables. I'm going to move into the next. A lot of new growth on this one. And this is where there's two branches that are competing with each other. I'm thinking, for the sake of ramification, I'm going to go ahead and take this short node out. That big piece is going. Put that down. Now I'm laying the cuttings out next to each other around the table because they have thorns and the bipennate leaves like to interlock. So instead of causing lots of damage, lay them out as individual pieces. That's the best way to go forward. This long shoot unfortunately needs to go, but how's it developing for my tree look? I'm going to go with this short node first. Take that long one out, place it there, see what we're looking at. Again, I'm trying to get a nice flat top here, but lots of branching out, what we call ramification in the bonsai world, to happen. Don't want to get rid of that one, nor do I want to get rid of that one. I guess that's well, I'll get rid of the long internode. Take that. That's not long enough to be a cutting, so I'll discard that now. This branch that's real low, I enjoy it, but really, it's too long. Let's get rid of it. Leave one bud point. So I don't know if you can see that, but I left one right there, left one 2 leaves coming off that branch. Big enough for a cutting, it is. Alright, let's get another angle so you guys can see what I've done. Here's a close-up real quick of the cuts I've made so far. I'm going to do a few more cuts here just to get the shape and plan out the ramification the way I want. So let's do that now. So I got the cuttings all planted up, and I'm going to keep that moist. That dirt will be moist. That's just a mix of compost and small rock and gravel left over from bonsai projects. That's what I have cut so far, so I'm going to get back to cutting and raking the roots on the main tree. So I got my tools here. I'll pull this tree out of its air pot. It's been in this air pot for a while now. Better part of a year, I would say, at least 6 months. Take that out, and we got some roots. We got healthy roots on the bottom here, as you can see. Very nice. Very nice. Let's see if we can get a zoom up on that. I'll just bring it to you. Look at that, guys. That's all right if I lose those rocks. But it's a nice root system. Not terribly dense, but it's definitely time for a repot. So I'm going to go ahead and come at this with the root hook and start taking some of the soil away and see what we have for a nebari. Still got my catch tray underneath this. Keep going here. Don't want to hurt the fine roots too much. I definitely want to save as much as I can. If I have to, I'll get the other tool. I have a few tools in my arsenal here. Oh yes, the powers of the blacksmith. Be able to make our own tools is a very nice ability. So I'm going to go ahead, removing this soil. It's nice and flat base. I can feel that I got a nice fine root system, thanks to the suggestions of the bonsai community, especially Nigel Saunders and his amazing root work. So I've learned a lot of little subtle tricks in watching him do his thing. So let's keep raking these out. Keep turning this tree. These are very fine roots. I'm very happy. I can also see why this is a very sought after tree for bonsai. These roots are fine. The base swells nicely. Just be careful not to hurt the base with my forged tools, because forged steel is a little more aggressive than formed steel. And what I mean by that is a lot of it's stock removed and just bent. This stuff has been forged to a point, and it's a little, I would say, has a denser, harder quality than just bent steel. It's been not work hardened, but just got a different density about it. It's more aggressive. So I'm going to use my hands here to flush this out. I'm going to leave a lot of the soil in this, I think, except for the very bottom roots. Unfortunately, these are the new growth, so I've got to be careful about that. Go ahead and get the base cleaned up here. I think where I trimmed this originally is really paid off. I'm going to wash this and I'll be right back. So this is what we have for a root base. Trying to get to stay up here a little bit, but get a little closer for you. See what's going on there. So we have some nebari potential. We need to go ahead and cut the bottom of this. I'm going to let this just fall for now. Go ahead and trim these longer roots, but not too much. I see a lot of white growth. I'm just going to let it do its thing. Let the new growth do its thing for now. Go ahead and get a better position on this, a better angle for you folks as well. So we're going to go ahead and analyze this nebari. I'm in the light a little bit here. The sun's setting behind me. I'm going to pull these roots out a little bit while I have. I am seeing an abundance of symbiotic nodes, nodules on the roots. I don't know if you can see these nodes, these little balls on the roots. These are nitrogen-fixing bacteria that are working in tandem with the root system of this tree. It's in It's one of the biggest family traits of the Fabaceae family of trees and plants in general. That's why they're known as a pioneer species. They literally have working arrangements with other organisms to be able to enrich their soil so they can grow better and propagate themselves. And nature is an amazing thing, guys. So as I brush this out, look at my nebari, my future nebari. I'm going to cut some of these higher roots that are further up off, just to encourage the bigger nebari lower down, and then also accentuate the trunk a little bit better. So radial roots are still working on those, but we're getting there. We are getting there. Pull these out from underneath there a little bit. Sometimes they hide underneath the base. You gotta just kind of snag them. All right, so that's a lot better than it was. Go ahead and really can't turn it as much as I want to. Not that much mass of a tree. But hopefully you guys can see what I'm seeing here. Get an idea what's going on. Let's get this potted up. So I have this lovely homemade pot by a local artist named Rosie here in Aramaçal, Brazil, Florianopolis. And I'm going to use this to plant this Brazilian rain tree. How appropriate. Brazilian pot by Brazilian potter and a Brazilian tree. So I'm going to do my famous two-tiered substrate method. Because I'm going to be leaving this tree for some time. Pardon me for the noise, there's some construction locally. I'm going to be leaving this tree for some time here, and I do not want it to dry out. So I'm going to keep a soil layer, which is basically mixed perlite and compost and old decomposing roots, and I did say perlite already. Perlite, compost, and decomposing roots and stones, small stones. So I'm going to go ahead and put that layer in first. Now I have a little trick that I like to do, especially since this is going to be in this pot for maximum a year. So what I'm going to do is I have this broken leaf. I'm just going to go ahead and put that over there for now. Just for now. Then I'll let things go through it. Just keep the dirt from falling through it now. Usually use a screen, but I'm going to use a leaf. I'm going to sprinkle this in. Like so. Get that layer in so the roots have something to grow into, and there's a layer for the moisture to hang out in, basically what's going on there. Because if you just use pure bonsai substrate like basalt or other kinds of granite or broken ceramics, the moisture just flows right through, and that's advantageous if you have someone looking after it every couple of days. But if you don't have someone looking after it every couple of days, you're going to want a layer that holds that moisture. That's why you see like heron bonsai, not heron bonsai, but heirloom bonsai, making custom pots that hold moisture deep down inside the pot for people that can't give their tree the attention it needs every few days. So I am going to leave this root system a little wider because I want these to grow. So I'm going to go ahead and give a little bit of more of a depression for the base to sit in. Now some of you are going to say those are long, Sam. I'm going to agree. Go ahead, we'll cut some of them back for the sake of. Some of those roots are a little older. We can get away with getting rid of them. I just don't want to get rid of those new growth. The new growth is essential that we have some, or enough for it to recover from the cutting process. So we want to go ahead and do that. We're going to leave that brand new root in there doing its thing. That's good. These are still a little bit too long here. Go ahead and cut these back. Take those out. Take that out. All right, we're getting closer to what we want. Now, any roots sticking up we don't want, so get rid of those. I'll give you a close-up of what I'm doing here. Now you're up and close. You can see what we're doing to this root system. I'm just going after things that are sticking up or just a little bit disorderly. That's a good radial root. I'm going to keep that. This one's sticking up. Get rid of that. Let's see here. Get a tall root up there. I did manage to find my toothbrush after all these weeks from all the windstorms, so I'll give that a little bit of a brushing, see what's going on. I don't want to tear that bark back too much. There we go. See what's going on there. Huh. There isn't there's some high roots in there, but I wouldn't say they're terribly, terribly high. I might actually just leave the upper roots on the trunk for now. This is sticking up, get rid of that. This one's sticking up, get rid of that one as well. Center that tree a little bit better. I would say so. Now I am going to settle the top layer with basalt that I have set aside here. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Now, they're going to ask me, Sam, do you know where the front of your tree is? I'm going to say yes. Yes, I do. That's the front of my tree, right there. So I want to go ahead and use my tools and radial those out a little bit better. Take anything that's broken out of there, even though it will decompose. It won't hurt the tree any. But we want these roots to point in the direction or more radial direction and grow in a more radial direction for the future. So my job is easier next time I replant this tree, repot this tree. So yeah, I would say that's the front of the tree for now. I could change that. That's the beauty of what we do. We change it later. Pushing that deeper in has pushed some roots to go up. So be careful when you push a tree down. Sometimes the roots will just naturally spring upwards because they're not used to that kind of force. But at the same time, this was an air pot baby for a long time, so I'm going to expect some level of chaos here. So let's go ahead and backfill this tree with some basalt. Get that started. That's one side. Get the other side. Now, I'm not going to use wire for this because basalt is pretty heavy stuff. It's going to hold this tree down just fine. I got another bag of it here. For those who are curious where to get basalt, there are several bonsai supply stores, but there are also aquarium supply stores, which luckily carry everything we need. Now, go ahead and fill that up a little bit better, which is allow these roots to grow into place better. There we go. A bit more. Make sure that you have enough to fill in all the voids. I'm going to have like a pile here, so we'll go ahead and do this traditional bit. Make sure you can see what I'm seeing. Yep, you can see what I'm seeing. So I'm just going to get these pieces of basalt in between the roots that I've radiused out around the pot here. I'm going to have to add some more as it settles in. You can see it's slowly kind of settling around the tree as I do this. We don't want any air pockets. It's going to keep down root rot. It's going to keep down any bacteria, weird things happening, bugs living in there, nematodes living in there, even though nematodes aren't necessarily a bad thing, guys, but depends on your space and your size of your pot. So, we're going to need a little bit more here. Spin the pot. Alrighty. We'll spin this out, spread this out, spread it out. I think I'm going to try it. I'm trying to maintain a lip around the pot because it's very, very nicely made. I really appreciate the artistry of the ceramics. Custom pots are cool. I do have a few very, very tiny roots trying to work their way out of here, but I don't really think they're going to be a problem in the future, but let's try to get rid of them for now. Use the fancy clamshell rake. Tamp that down without hurting the pot. Lean it that way some. Resettle some of these stones. Need a few more on this corner. A few more in the middle. Again, sorry for the sound there. Construction noises next door. The neighbor's gate fell off. He runs a business, so he needs that gate fixed. I don't blame him. Alright, I think it's almost watering time here. Now, I'm trying to just see how I want this tree to settle. I'm going to make sure it stays out of the wind for the next week as its roots really get in there. Well, especially when you wet it down as well, it's going to hold it down a little bit better as well with the wet rock. I think it's a little high on one side. I better fill in this side too. make it look better. I do like basalt for the bonsai. I see why the Japanese use it. It's pretty nice contrast to what's going on naturally. So I have the tree all potted up in its new vase. I'm liking it so far. That's the, let's see. This would be the front of the tree. I gotta move it around a little bit more. That's the front of the tree here. So this is where the front of the tree is. And now, there's a few things I'd like to cut back still here. Nothing too crazy. This inner node is, we got the growing in two directions here. Let's see if we can get some back budding. So I left a node here and it's got some two branches growing out this direction. Or maybe it'll back bud, maybe it won't, who knows. This is really too small to make a cutting, so that's good to go. I mean, you could try, it might work. I've seen things that small bud, but I want to be careful. I got some branches crisscrossing inside I want to clean up, just to make it look cleaner inside and as a whole. Anything facing down I want out. Take those out. This one's kind of facing down. Get rid of that one. Let's see here. So far so good. I got one coming out here. I think I'll go ahead and back cut that. I don't really need a small branch starting lower down at this point. I got some down here. I want to see where they go, but I'll leave these intact down here. Up here, we're looking pretty good. I'm going to let it just grow out. Let's get some sealant on this. See if we can seal these up. Okay. Seal the cuts. Even the little cuts, why not? Don't want this tree to dry out. I don't want too much dieback. I don't want it to get any weird funguses or diseases or bacterias. I want this tree to live and be healthy so I can continue to learn with it. So it's an important step to do this. You don't have to, but you can even make your own. You don't have to buy it like I am. There's different ways to make this wound sealant. All right, that's all been taken care of. It is all sealed. Let's get the water on it. All right, so here we have it all potted up. You could probably use a little bit more gravel near the base, but let's see how it goes after we give it some water. Of course, I could have used the watering can, but it's a little bit slower, more methodic. It's good to see that basalt really brighten up once it gets wet. And the soil below good. The soil below was already moist from yesterday's rain, so I'm not terribly worried about the moisture content in this. I just want to get this matted down. One quick zoom up on the tree and what's going on here. You can see some of the bark did come off there from the pulling back. There are some roots there I may or may not have to cut in the future. The bark is developing nicely on this tree. So is the ramification, slowly but surely. I'm sure there's some places I could have cut back further, but I'm being a little conservative. We're going into winter here. So, we got it all planted up. And I'm going to provide some updates as time goes on to see how it develops. Probably the next update this tree will have is honestly in September or October of this year. We'll see how the radial root system develops. We'll see how the ramification develops for the next step before I've cut it and make a new plant if necessary. I'm going to take the old cuttings that did resprout leaves and make a Brazilian Raintree forest, so keep tuned for that. I'm going to forge a stainless steel pot and place these little seedlings that are growing strong into a forest. And I've already planted the other cuttings, and we'll see how many of those actually make it. But I would say it takes about 6 to 8 weeks to actually really know which ones are going to make it, which ones are not. And if you have any questions, put them in the comment section below. Consider liking and subscribing for moral support. And if you liked anything you saw here tool-wise, I'm happy to make them for people. Just email me. And until next time, take care.